الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهديه الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. All praises due to Allah. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship but Allah alone, without any partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad Rasulullah is the messenger, prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, his household, companions, and everybody following him to the day of judgment. My dear brothers and sisters, we always remember how as Muslims we learn from this dunya, that it is, from this world, that it is transient, it is temporary, it is a bridge, it is the means by which we please our Lord, please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then we invest here, we plant here, and we do our best here for an eternal life afterwards. We also as Muslims know that this world is the world of tests and trials. Life is not what you desire and what you like at all times. There will be times, actually most of the time, you will not get what you like. You will not get what you want, and this is where hope comes. But the one thing that we as Muslims need always to remember, that our heart has to be attached to Allah, not to anybody else. Our heart has to be muta'alliq billah at all times. Muta'alliq billah at all times. Attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times. This helps us. This will help us. Not only to what is happening now in the climate and the political and the election and all of that, but actually with more than that. On personal levels, family level, community level, as a human race level, this will help us at all times. When your heart is attached to Allah, it belongs to Allah, it is filled with trusting and tawakkul ala Allah at all times. And the less the percentage is at being attached to Allah, the more you will feel sad, the more you will feel frustrated, the more you will feel disappointed. Because whenever you depend or have hope in one of the creation of Allah, you are distancing yourself from the Creator Himself. And then depression comes, then problems comes, And then we try to say why this is happening. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa himself, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa himself, and the Sahaba, when they lost in a battle of Uhud, he's telling them, you are wondering why what happened is because your preparations. It is because what you did. It is because what your hand acquired. So always relate to Allah that nothing will happen without His will. Without His will, subhanahu wa ta'ala, for a wisdom that He only knows. He might teach us, He might not. He might show it to us, might not. But He has the wisdom. Nothing will happen without Allah's permission. That's number one. Number two, we don't depend on the means. We don't depend on the means. When you are here, don't go hindsight and say, should have, could have, would have, right? But you reflect on it and say, what should we do now? And that's what we want to be talking about in the khutbah, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling Rasulullah, أَوَلَمَّا أَصَابَتْكُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَدْ أَصَبْتُمْ مِثْلَيْهَا قُلْتُمْ أَنَّ هَذَا قُلْ هُوَ مِنْ عِنْدِ أَنفُسِكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when this musibah of defeat or loss in that battle happened to you, they said, where this is coming from? We have Rasulullah, we have this, we have the Muslimin, what happened? Allah said, because of your preparation, what you did. The Prophet told you to do certain things, you did otherwise, and that's what happens. Right? So that means we do our best, we take the means, but we don't depend on them, and our heart is always attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ, say, O Allah, مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ, you are the king and the owner of the dominion. تُؤْتِ الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ, you provide or you give this kingship and the ownership to whomever you wish. سبحانك يا رب العالمين. وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ, and you take it from whoever you wish. وَتُعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ, you give dignity and honor to whom you wish. وَتُذِلُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ, and bring down and humiliate whomever you wish. بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرِ, remember that word. بِيَدِكَ, the khair is not in XYZ. The khair is not in that party or this party. The khair, the goodness is not in that person or that person. The khair is in your heart and my heart. The khair is in the Quran. The khair is in the deen. The khair is to come to the jama'ah. The khair is to be together like we are now. The khair is to raise your children properly. The khair is to take care of your neighbors. بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرِ, and they're all in the hand of Allah. No one person will bring you goodness and one person will bring you evil. No, there are 5 stages of dealing with information. You have information, whether you're seeing it, like you're seeing me now giving the speech, or you're hearing it, you're hearing my voice, or you're reading a book. This is number 1, this is how you get it. You access the information through one of those ways of input. Then you should think about it. You think about it, don't let it go over your head. Think about that information. What is that ayah has to do with what's happening? What is this story has to do with what is happening? Now you are thinking, processing the information. Consider it like a production line here. First, you get the information, so you think about it, trying to make sense out of it, trying to relate things together. Then number 3, you relate to it. Where am I in this? Where am I in this? What did I do that resulted in what is happening now? Because it's easy to accuse someone else. And it is easy to say, where are the activists? Where are the people? Where is this? Where is that? It's easy to accuse others. But it is very important, whenever information is given to you, you think about it and then put yourself, where do you fit? Am I among the passive or am I among the active? If I'm among the active, am I doing things right or am I doing it wrong? Do I need help? And if I do, whom should I ask? And stuff like that. That's how you process things. You relate. Where am I in this? You listen to a story of the Quran, says, how does this apply to me? When we talk about abuse, am I abusive or not? And if I am not, how I make sure that I don't become one? Yes? So this is how you relate. Then you implement. That's stage number 4. You implement what you listened to, what you acquired, what you thought about, what you related to, then you need to implement it. Otherwise, what is the point of all these ayat of the Quran and the hadith we are listening, and khutbah after khutbah, speech after speech, and event after event, and the conference here and the conference there, and the seminar here and the workshop and the youth program and this? What is the point of all that if it does not change us from last year and the year before and the year before? And you are the best one to evaluate yourself. Not me, not anybody else. بل الإنسان على نفسه بصيرة. You are the one who is the best judge. You are the best judge to yourself. حاسبوا أنفسكم قبل أن تحاسبوا وتزينوا ليوم العرض الأكبر. هكذا قال عمر رضي الله عنه. سيدنا عمر بن الخطاب أمير المؤمنين said that judge yourself, evaluate yourself, account yourself before you are judged, accounted, and asked. يوم القيامة, right? And prepare yourself and be in the best of your shapes when you are standing in front of Allah. That interview you have all your life to prepare for. One interview that you have a lifetime to prepare for. So that's stage number 4 is to implement. And stage number 5, it does not sit at your level. It has to go through someone else. So we have to ask ourselves again. I come and pray every day. How did this transpire to my neighbor, Muslim or non-Muslim? I come and attend Jum'ah for the past 10 years every single week. Ask yourself, how did this affect my performance at my workplace? And how many people at my workplace know who I am? How many people, my neighbors, know what a Muslim is? Subhanallah. Today, I don't know why I came 1 hour early. I know that it's 1:30 in Khutbah. I know that. But I was in the south side of Houston, and I decided to go home and then, prepare myself and then come for the Jum'ah. I still have 1 hour or 1.5 hours. Then when I'm in the way, I said, you know what, I'll just go straight to the mosque. I have my equipment, I have my Shiekh look kind of dress in the car, just in case. I'm just going to put that on and go, instead of going home and all that. So alhamdulillah, I came. But then, that's why I said in the beginning, everything in the hand of Allah, you have to put your heart in the hand of Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, standing here in front of you, I know why I came 1 hour early. And this is something that will give you some comfort today. I came early, and here is this man leaving the mosque. And then, talking, are you the imam? I said, yes, I'm the imam. And we want to talk together. He's the neighbor of the mosque for 25 years. And he's coming here with tears in his eye to apologize for what is happening to me and to the community. And how can we help? And one of the things that really touched me as a Muslim, as a human being, and the lesson that I want to relate to you, he said that I regret, and he's sitting with us now, by the way. Yeah. So he said, I'm from Jewish faith, and I'm your neighbor here for 25 years, and I have not seen but good things from this community, and I know this mosque before it's even built. All right? That's our neighbor that our Prophet told us about. We wait for 25 years for him to come and check on us. Yes. So he comes and he said that I regret every second that there was something wrong and I did not speak about it. So this is the time now to speak. This is the time now to take care of our families. It is going to be a hard time for our children, for our spouses, and I feel for you. And that was a message of love and peace. And this is something, subhanAllah, we have to appreciate. Something that we have to be thankful for. And this is the light in all this darkness. This is hope in all this misery. This is something good in all this ignorance, that Allah Azza wa Jalla is showing us something. Now I know why I had to come early. I know why I had to come early. Something was pushing me to come early. There's lots of goodness. Just look around you. In our community, the larger community, as well as the smaller community, there's lots of potential we need to start tapping into. We have lots of goodness we have to invest in. We have to invest in that. Everybody is looking at the stock going up and down, but we have stocks that will always keep going up. It never goes down. But this is time to invest in it. Another story, subhanAllah, the next day to this American election, I said, today I'm going to go around in the Muslim community. So I prayed, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, with Allah's blessing. I prayed Fajr in one mosque, Dhuhr in another, Asr in another, Maghrib in another. Isha was all the way in Masjid Maryam in the south. Let's keep going. To visit the community and see my brothers and sisters. And this is what we need to do whenever we have some issues. We need to reach and start doing that. But before I teach you that today, I have to do it myself. I had to do it myself first. And I have to talk about in each and every place, where is your heart today? If I ask you, where is your heart today? What would you tell me? My heart is Democrat or Republican? My heart is this or that? Or are you going to tell me, my heart is with Allah Azza wa Jal? Now my trust in Allah is even more today. That's what we wanted to say. That's what we want to hear from each other. Where is your heart today? When I say, how are you doing? When I tell you, brother or sister, how are you doing today? What do you think I'm asking about? What do I think I'm asking you about? When I tell you, like, how are you doing today? What do I really mean? How are you means your money, your health, your family, your house, material aspect? Unfortunately, this is mostly what we think we're asking or what we're asked about. Oh, I'm good. First class. Yeah. Boom. Alhamdulillah. Like, they say that in Arabic and all that. Mabsoot, كويس. Boy, acha, good. Bien, all of languages. But have you thought about it when I'm asking you how are you doing means the state of your heart as well? Is really have tawakkul ala Allah, yaqeen in Allah Azza wa Jal, that the problems happening to us, it is to purify us? Right? Do you think about that? Also, we need to start thinking about that, don't you think? Subhanallah. Yesterday, and this is again another lesson I wanted to share with my community, to learn from whatever happening, this climate happening around, this very charged climate, right? Alhamdulillah, still we have the same day, and we went to our work, right? We eat when we are hungry, and we went to sleep, and many of us snored and saw dreams also. So life goes on. Life goes on. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I'm not saying it's the best, but it has tests. But lots of work needed. Shammir. Now roll your sleeves, this is the time. That's the time. That's what a good Muslim will do. Whenever they are challenged, it brings the best, not the worst. It brings what? The best out of them. A hypocrite, it will bring the worst. Criticize and whine and shout and criticize and this and that and accuse everybody. That is not us. It's not us. What I have, I'm willing to offer. What you have, I want you to come and let's work together. 9 years ago, I went to one hospital here in Houston, offering my service to volunteer to visit the patients. Muslim or non-Muslim, I offered that. And then, maybe they had their reasons, but they, I'm not going to say nicely, I'm not going to say offensively, professionally they declined my service. They said, yeah, we don't need, but thank you. That was very abrupt, a few minutes, and I left. Okay? Subhanallah, nothing in my mind, I was finished. I went to other hospitals and I started doing this, and I went about with my life. But in the meantime, I studied and I went to university, I went to took classes again, and I did something. And 7 years later, yesterday, a few weeks before, I get contacted from the same hospital. When the administration changed people, but same hospital. Sir, your name came up, and we need your help with establishing a program to train Muslims who want to volunteer and visit our patients and Muslim patients. We want to train them for 1 or 2 days so they can do it properly according to the laws and the ethical, medical ethical things. And we know that you are, in that field. So would you please come and help us? I say, Subhanallah. Now, what is the lesson from this? Sometimes you get offended and leave and abandon. But sometimes you need to ask yourself, why I was rejected? If I come and I say, here is my credentials and my qualifications, and I have this PhD or I have this master's degree and I have this many hours of experience, you think I would have been rejected like that? I don't think so. Right? Because when they look, the first thing they look, credentials. And now I don't have those credentials. And that is the lesson for our Muslim community. That's the lesson. And instead of being defeated or saying this or that, no. What can we do to avoid what happened in the future? Right? What can we do? We need to be qualified, my brothers and sisters. We need to be aware of what is happening around. We drop our children at school and then we come and pick them up. Is this being a good parent? I'm going to ask myself and you, all of you. Is this being a good parent? Is this enough being a good parent that you can come 20 years later in good conscience and say, I provided my children with the best education? What did you do? I took them to that school in the morning and my wife picked up at the afternoon and I paid the tuition. Maybe someone will come and say, I was in the board making sure that, the policies and all of the things around. And so on, everybody will do their, but is this enough to be a good parent, caring about the education of your children? I myself, for one, maybe you disagree with me, I don't think so. When you read the books with your children, when you follow with them, when you make sure that they relate that information to their life, when you volunteer at that school, when you are in touch with the teachers, not only busy with collecting money or whatever, or when you are unemployed, you are busy with, being frustrated. No, you be involved in their life. That is how it becomes meaningful to me and you and everybody. When we're studying here about Islam and everything, and we hear our Prophet every single day saying, none of you will be a complete believer unless you are good to your neighbor. How many of us know the names of your neighbors? 10, 15 of them. How many tried? How many reached out? We only wait until a problem happens, then we start making relationship? No. Initiatives, my brothers and sisters. So those are lessons to reflect on. Our religion has everything in it, alhamdulillah. Praise be to Allah. Anything happening to you, you can find an ayah in the Quran and the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I told you the ayah about what we do is what you reap. What you do is what you harvest. Okay? That's one. Be attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Help each other for good and virtue and don't help or support. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, whoever sees something wrong, change it with your hand. If you cannot, or it will bring a bigger problem, then change it with your tongue. Speak up. We say vote, do this, do that. That's speaking up. Doing things with your tongue. Even if it doesn't change, at least you did your duty. If you cannot, at least don't be satisfied with it in your heart. Don't be passive. Don't say, I will just go with the people, whatever they do, why are you making a big deal out of things? That is the musibah in itself. Bigger than what results. Bigger than what results is that attitude of passivity, being passive. Apathetic, like feeling that everything is going to go, don't worry about it. As long as I do my prayers, my salah, fasting, and hajj and all that, I'm good. No, you're not good. This salah, tanha an al-fahsha wal-munkar. The siyam is for taqwa. As hajj is to develop certain things. It's not the end in itself. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us more understanding in this deen, to think about it, to relate to it, to implement it, and to pass it and teach it, and show everybody around us the beauty of Islam. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه وله وسلم تسليما كثيرا. My brothers and my sisters, a few minutes only, I want to mention two things and wrap my khutbah, inshallah, my speech. This is the time we are in now is the time of the internet and the social media and all of that. And I need to speak about this. We need to speak about that. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam speak about the relevant issues, the things surrounding him in the marketplace, selling and buying and what people do and all of that. And that's what we need to speak about. I can tell you, in the past couple of days, I'm not seeing anything that it is fruitful. Anybody comes with a good plan of doing things. People are just exchanging accusations. What IGH is doing, IGH is inviting this, inviting candidates that. Then I asked one question, nobody answered, subhanAllah, in one of the biggest forums for Houston Muslims. And I asked him, what should we do? If you are that organization you are accusing, what would you do today? Tell me, I will come drive right now, me and you, and we'll do it. No answer. So we don't want to get stuck in the area of, you just accuse, you just criticize. Oh, this organization is bad. This organization is political. Oh, these sheikhs are bought people. They speak, they are political figures. All right, come fix it. Tell me what should I do. We'll do it. Now I'll tell you what should we do. We should have training workshops for our children. Now, this week, should have training for our children workshops. Number one, to show them that their identity as Muslim is something solid, something as a foundation. Number two, that challenge is part of this life. Their challenge is not being a Muslim in a non-Muslim land. Challenges is part of their life. If we have a solution for that challenge, you're going to have 100 challenges. So challenges is part of life. Don't be apologetic. Don't feel guilty that you are Muslim, Jew, or Christian, or whoever you are. Don't feel of that. Guilty because of that. No. Number three, you answer all the issues. So the children, they're proud when they are asked, even if I don't know the information, I know my religion has the answers and I'll give those answers to you so they are not bullied. This is what we need to teach our children as well as our adults, wallahi. As well as our adults. We have workshop, shoot all those questions, all these questions in your mind. Bring them. If I don't know the answer, we need to come up with the answer. We need to have that list that every single one of us memorize and know and be convinced with. And your heart is with Allah. Your religion is a solid foundation. Because the problem is when you don't have that, then when you are challenged, you don't want to be known as a Muslim. You just want to fit in. And elder people before the younger. Educated people. People with the highest degrees in academics. They do that. And they do it before, not now. Then now they will have more reason to do it. That they don't want to be recognized as Muslims. And they want to bring our children also out of that. Out of this faith identification. No. So that's what we need to do. Instead of saying this is wrong, what's right? Let's do it. Come. I'm giving the message now. Through the internet, through the Facebook, through the social media. Come to the mosque. All my brothers who are sitting behind that keyboard, come to the masjid tonight. Go to your local mosque tonight. Fill your mosques at the Isha prayer tonight, tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. Let's figure this out, how we can become a stronger community. What do we need to do? How can I pray? How can I read Quran? How can I teach my children? When you have that number around you, I'm sure we're going to come up with a good solution. Look around you. After you finish Salatul Jum'ah, look around you. This number, you think you'd be scared when you have that number around you? That is what the Jama'ah means. That's why we pray 5 times a day. That's why we have to be congregation. That's why congregation is 27 times better. That's why. If you are feeling alone, 27 times better will change that feeling is when you are in a Jama'ah, my brothers and sisters. I cannot emphasize that enough. At the end of my khutbah, we as a community have to function together. I know it is hard times. Economy is hard times. Jobs hard times. Unemployment are hard times. And it might get worse. So we need to stand up for each other. This community sitting here right now, there are needy and there are ones who fulfill that need. I'm 100% sure. And that's what Allah says, what Rasulullah ﷺ says. So please, my brothers and sisters, if you have a need, come forward to the administration of this masjid. And if you can help someone in need, also come forward to the administration of this masjid. That's how we fix our issues. Not with slogans, not with administration, not with this and not with that. Let's change from within. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Allah will not change the situation unless we start changing ourselves from within. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who listen and follow the best of what they listen to. ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين. اللهم أخلص نوايانا وأصلح أعمالنا واغفر ذنوبنا وامحو خطايانا وارفع درجاتنا واهدنا إلى صراطك المستقيم. اللهم اهدنا إلى صراطك المستقيم على سنة نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين. Oh Allah, we ask you to guide our hearts, to fix our deeds, to forgive our sins, to raise our ranks, to make us among those who listen and to follow the best of what they listen to. Oh Allah, give us the ni'mah and the bounty and the favor of safety and happiness and comfort in this land and everywhere, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, we ask you with your names and attributes to grant all the oppressed, the Muslims who are oppressed everywhere, to grant them, Ya Allah, justice, to grant them safety, and to grant them happiness, and to reward them for all the suffering and oppression that they are going through. And Ya Allah, we ask you with name and attributes to forgive our sins and to forgive our shortcomings and to empower us and to strengthen us at this blessed day of Al-Jum'ah, at this blessed community of yours. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وأقم الصلاة.